Bigfoots live in the forests. They can use hypnotic vocal vibrations to entrance and open doorways to parallel worlds such as Squatch world. They act as guardians and give guidance. Sometimes they take people 411 missing and the people seem like they vanished into thin air. But also evil entities such as Skinwalker or Men in Black take people. They guard against evil witchcraft, Skinwalkers and dark Eldritchian entities, the old ones. They help guide, aid and communicate with good spiritually connected people such as good shamans, medicine men and other people and spirits. Sasquatch live on Earth and Squatch world. They live in mountains that only they can access through openings that often appear as cave openings or tree hollows. They do not appear to humans and other beings. They would be seen as solid rock or wood. Skinwalkers are trying to obtain the skins of Sasquatch. They believe it would make them powerful and give them the ability to access Squatch world. According to Native American legend and folklore, Skinwalkers are humans that use animal skins to shapeshift into the animal form. The human needs to ritually sacrifice someone they love to gain these abilities. Are these sacrifices made to some kind of Lovecraftian old one? Or are the Skinwalkers themselves the chosen vessels of an otherworldly hunger? Their transformations are not so much a gift as a mutation, a debt to be repaid. Some say you can hear them keening late at night when fog is thick and the wind drags its ragged edge through the trees. Lost souls stitched skin to skin, condemned to search for the furs of others. The Bigfoots know this. They have seen it in the stillness of the unguarded night when the shimmer between worlds is thin. They know because they, too, have a hunger to keep balance, to play referee in a game with rules no human has ever learned. The Bigfoots don't take the missing, not the way Skinwalkers do. Sometimes they guide, sometimes they rescue, sometimes they just take a soul to keep it from being ground into power between the teeth of something worse. Every few years, a new legend spawns from such cases. They are more common than one thinks. Here are some first-hand accounts. December 3, 2018, X. I went camping up in the Gifford Pinchot, south of Randall. Anonymous writes, "It was mid-September, cold enough to see your breath if you exhaled, but not too bad as long as you kept moving. I brought decent gear and my dog, Pluto, a retriever mix. First night okay except for this tree knocking sound, random but steady as a heartbeat. Second night, it started up again, closer. Pluto perked up and wouldn't stop whining. Third night, I heard whispering. Not words, just the rhythm of conversation, carried by wind. Then a scream from the hollow. Not a coyote scream, I know those. Not a cougar. Something like a human being shredded. I did not sleep after that. I kept the fire going. Right before dawn I saw something huge move through the trees. Not a bear. Head higher than the brush. Arms like a basketball hooper but longer. Pluto growled, but didn't bark, crouched, tail tucked, like he wanted to cave into the ground. It passed right through camp, 20 yards away. I swear it looked at me. Morning came. The campsite felt rewired, like someone had rearranged the molecules in the air. Pluto kept his hackles up until we hit the car. Neither of us looked back. June 9, 2016, Paranormal. I'm a park volunteer with SAR in the Mount Hood area. There's a story we tell rookies to spook them. A ranger, mid-50s, went off trail responding to someone's SOS beacon. Never came back. They found his radio and cap, and the batteries in both had melted. No sign of a body. They sent in a tracker dog, which just ran in circles, then sat down and howled. The supervisor said, "It looked like the trees were breathing. Like the whole goddamn forest was alive and didn't want you inside it." Nobody went back on that trail for a year. Weirdest thing, a month after the incident, search crews found a ring of ash where the distress beacon was last pinged. In the center, a single footprint, so massive you could have poured a gallon of water in it and still had room for the heel. The rest of the ground was undisturbed. Forest Service just shrugged and buried it in the backlogs. August 14, 2014, X. My girlfriend and I got into rock hounding over the summer, mostly in old volcanic zones near Mount St. Helens. We'd pack in light and just wander, half hoping to get lost. One time, we slid into this ravine that wasn't on our maps. The air tasted sour like battery acid and moss. We found a cave. It was super narrow, but you could stand up straight once you got inside. Tunnel went back maybe 50 feet, then opened into this chamber. Floor was dirt and something else, crunchy. I thought it was bug shells at first, but when we flashed the headlamp it looked more like hair. Like patches of animal fur, but underneath were these strips of leather stitched together. We noped out immediately, but not before we both heard movement. Like something heavy scraping along the rock. We camped a half-mile away, didn't sleep. Girlfriend swears she heard voices muttering all night, sometimes in English, sometimes not. Packed up at dawn, left most of our gear. Both of us got the worst migraines for days after. I still get headaches when I think about it. October 27, 2011, X. There's an old family story about great-grandpa and the wild men in eastern Washington. He was a small rancher. Claimed to see them out at dusk, always in groups of 3. They would walk the ridge line behind his property, sometimes stopping to look at the house. Never came closer than the edge of the barley field. Said he tried to shoot one once, but the bullet made a sound like it was hitting wet cement. He said the gun jammed after that, every bullet melting down in the chamber. He didn't try again. When my aunt was a kid, she said she saw enormous handprints on the barn windows, but on the second story. Too high for any ladder we owned. Grandpa always wiped them away before anyone else saw. July 19, 2009, Cryptids. I'm sober now but wasn't always. Dealer I bought from had a double-wide 20 miles out past Darrington. Place backed up to National Forest. He grew weed there but swore it wasn't the only thing that flourished in those woods. Said it was why he always kept the lights off at night, and why he never let his dogs out past sunset. Every so often, something would stomp around the tree line, shaking the aluminum walls. Sometimes the motion lights would trip and you'd see a silhouette, arms dangling low, taller than the roof line. Dealer told me about a time he tried to burn trash late and heard what sounded like children, giggling and repeating his name, only nobody lived out there, not for miles. He started sleeping with a sword off under his pillow. He claimed it didn't stop the dreams, wet, static-riddled, always inside a tunnel stuffed with pelts, waking up with dirt under his fingernails and a taste on his tongue like rawhide and blood. The last time I went to see him, there were these black runes burned into the porch. Had no idea what they meant. I asked him, but he just smoked and stared at the tree. Line until his lighter burned his thumb. Never went back after that. November 29, 2006, High Strangeness. My friend's uncle worked NPS up near Rainier. Had a beat where he'd check campsites for squatters and meth labs. One morning he found a guy in a tent, catatonic, not injured but eyes like melted marbles. Dude just rocked and muttered about the man with the burlap face. Wouldn't move, wouldn't eat. They hiked him out and the rescue team called it trauma-induced shock. My friend's uncle was the one who hiked back to get the abandoned tent. He said when he opened it, it was full of twigs and hair and dead hornets, all braided together like a blanket. He burned the tent on the spot and left everything else. Apparently the guy never snapped out of it. To this day he's in assisted living, still muttering about burlap faces and the sound of chewing, always chewing. This is why the uncle retired early, and why nobody in his family will set foot in the woods after dark. June 10, 2002, Renner Sleep. We used to party up at this abandoned mine near Coelum. There was a shaft that went maybe 100 feet back, then caved in. One night, while we were drinking up top, Mikey falls down it. We all heard him screaming for nothing. We ran to the entrance, but it was dead silent inside. We were about to call the cops when Mikey climbed out on his own, covered in mud and fur and something sticky. He acted normal that night, but a week later he got wired. Stopped hanging out, stopped answering his phone. When I went to check on him, his mum said he'd run off into the hills. I hiked all day looking, but found only his shoes, lined up on a stump with a fish bone and a black feather tucked inside each toe. I still drive past that mine sometimes. The trees nearest it always look singed, even when the rest of the forest is green. December 25, 1999, Cryptids. I was raised Quileute. Not all the old stories are for outsiders, but I can say this. We have names for the ones who wear elk or bear skins, but none for the truly old ones, the ones who are not fooling anyone with their pelts. My grandfather warned us that we'd know them by the way the world would shiver just before we saw them. They are not men. They are not animals. They are what is left after everything else is gone. You cannot follow them. You cannot fight them. You survive only by pretending you did not notice.